Greetings, Collective Coven. This is Trey, aka at Taboo Tarot Reader, and welcome to a Tarotscope in honor of the Mars-Pluto conjunction in Aquarius today, February 14th, 2024, according to the Gregorian calendar. In this Tarotscope, we will be using the tarot as a supporting tool to help any souls tuning in visualize and work with these astrological energies. And then we will transition into some intuitive tarot and close out this Tarotscope with a final oracle message. So if you're looking to get some more information for your story, if this sounds like something that interests you, welcome. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to propose a little query on behalf of the Collective Coven. Spirit, elevated ancestors, higher beings, we humbly invite you into this collective Tarotscope for all signs, all placements, all peoples. Spirit, how are the archetypal energies as governed by the movements of the planets, the cosmos, as symbolized by the physical tarot cards themselves, manifesting, grounding down, and playing out during Aquarius season 2024. Spirit, please help us be a pure and accurate channel to receive. Thank you so much if you are still with me. Your presence is truly appreciated here. Let's dive deep. Now, this Mars-Pluto conjunction in Aquarius is clearly manifesting in the space of the industrial war complex. Mars in Western Hellenistic astrology is considered the planet of warfare, and Mars is very weak in Aquarius. This fixed air sign, Mars is not necessarily happy to be in Aquarius. So we have here the Emperor, major arcana, feeling the cold perhaps as the Emperor, a chill. The Knight of Swords, minor arcana. Strong Aquarius energy here. The Star, major arcana. Aquarius' card in the tarot. Finally, the Death, major arcana. Scorpio's card, ruling planet Pluto. In the tarot, for me, this is Pluto's card, Scorpio's realm, the 8th house of death and sex, that duality. So let's just arrive here and sit with these characters and ask yourself the question, who is embodying the Emperor, major arcana, in my story? Who is embodying the Knight of Swords in my story? Because there's an ending here. And I'm sensing that these two characters have some type of alliance. And there was a lot of wishful thinking, magical thinking, a lot of mental energy went into this alliance. I'm definitely therefore sensing this as a working relationship or some type of professional relationship for many, or a relationship of convenience here. Now, in the context of world events, right? This for me is all about ideology, because when you study historical Pluto transits, and the last time Pluto was in Aquarius was the 18th century during the American Revolution, the French Revolution, the Haitian Revolution, okay? And Pluto will be in the water bearer sign for 20 years, up until 2044. So this is a revolutionary, radicalizing energy. This is an energy that's forcing, I'm sensing, the collective coven to purge and identify what needs to be purged on planet Earth. And I'm sensing it's patriarchy, hexapatriarchy. This tired old game of war, the business of war, which has created genocide and ecocide, is no longer clearly serving the planet. And these historical Pluto transits teach us how ideologies, again, beliefs, are weaponized always by patriarchy to uphold the status quo. And here with the star card, the shadow aspects of the star are toxic positivity. The shadow aspects of the star card here being invoked, because this is a shadow lesson with the death card here, is like Pluto invokes shadow work, okay? I'm sensing the shadow lesson is about how the algorithm itself has become the oppressor. The algorithm itself is now embodying the oppressor. And just look at the French Revolution, a classic case of how in these revolutionary times, we must always remember the duality of the oppressor and the oppressed. So the Knight of Swords in this context is the oppressed, because they're subservient to the Emperor. And the Knight of Swords may believe they have true power when they don't. When they are just a lackey. When they are just a goon. When they are just a soldier. When they are just a pawn in empire's game. And we must understand Pluto and Aquarius is triggering these deep shadow works about how propaganda and mind control are dominating certain mainstream media Darvo narratives. Deny, attack, reverse, victim, offender narratives. And this is what this Plutonian energy for me is conjuncting with Mars. Again, it's how the oppressor always seeks to establish dominance over the narrative, dominance over the information, and then will gaslight the public, distract the public. You know, an old Roman poet said, give them bread and circuses and they will never revolt. And that is so clear given what happened during the U.S. Empire's racist prom game, the Super Bowl. Give them bread and circuses and they will never revolt. Really sit with this, because again, Pluto is a trans-Turnian planet. This energy will be playing out for 20 years. Now, this is a very interesting conjunction because we also have a couple other planets in co-presence in Aquarius with Pluto and Mars. So we also have Saturn in Aquarius, which for me can be symbolized by the Hermit major arcana coming into play. Now, this Hermit energy coming into play, again, it's invoking the deepest aspects of shadow work. And for me, you know, the Hermit card also represents the very Saturnian limits of the archetypal masculine's consciousness. In the tarot, the Hermit card represents the point in the sequence of the 22 major arcanas in which masculine consciousness has reached its final glass ceiling, and the initiate, in order to go deeper into the mysteries, must open up to the archetypal feminine. So on one level, this is about recognizing how left brain consciousness is a blockage, and how patriarchal people, regardless of gender identity, regardless of who they are, anyone who is living in their left brain can only perceive so much. So that's what, on one level, the Hermit Arcana for me, with Saturn and Aquarius coming into play here, is invoking. It's invoking recognizing the limitations of the Emperor as an archetype. What are their limitations? What are their blind spots? You don't need me to explain this if you know who the Emperor is in your story, because it's very clear what their blockages are. They have no empathy. They are stuck in their mind. They are afraid of their own emotions. They have had to turn off their empathy in order to establish power over. That is the path of the Emperor. So this again is about how the powers of the mind, ideology, are always weaponized in patriarchy. And how the oppressors are so insecure, have such a fragile ego, that they cannot even tolerate variety of thought, opinions. And again, if you study historical Pluto transits, democracy was seeded during these transits as an ideology. And what we are witnessing right now, at the beginning of 2024, in my humble opinion, is the beginning of the end. Anyone else getting fall of the Roman Empire vibes with the American 2024 election? And it's very interesting. Uranus, the planet, was discovered during one of Pluto's transits, the penultimate Pluto transit in Aquarius. And the United States is, in 2025, going through its Uranus return in Gemini. So buckle up, buttercups. This is the beginning of the end. We are having a full circle moment in the United States. Because again, remember, the last time Pluto was in Aquarius was during the American Revolution. Woo! Lots of information. If you are interested to learn more about these historical Pluto transits, check out my Instagram page. I recently have been making a bunch of posts, historical, astrological case studies about Pluto and Uranus and Taurus. But let's keep it moving. Now, we also have Mars's arch enemy, Mercury, in co-presence in Aquarius. And Mercury is in a very strong space in Aquarius. So here we have the Magician now coming into play, and the Six of Swords energy. Retreat. So what I'm sensing here, I don't make predictions, I read energy. But I'm sensing how this energy may play out in the immediate future, given the context of current world events. Is that, again, the Emperor, the United States, is not real, thinks they have control over the narrative. They think that they have successfully gaslit everyone to subscribe to their terrorist narrative, which dehumanizes an entire population of oppressed people, Palestinians. It has rewritten the entire history of the 75-year occupation of Palestine, and it has scapegoated Palestinians without centering any Palestinian voices in mainstream media narratives, and has only centered is not real voices. So I'm sensing here that the emperor knows that public opinion has swayed around the world, because anyone who has intellects and a moral compass knows that this is a genocide. This is this generation's Holocaust. It is morally indefensible. Yet, what we are witnessing in the empire, again, is certain souls who have sold out. They have sold out to the empire in order to what? Use their magic to create distractions, in order to use their magic to deceive. And these people who we have the receipts on, we have all the receipts of who has been silent and complicit with this genocide. And history will not be kind. So just know right now, these people will retreat from public life, inevitably, within the next 20 years. Because people will not be kind to them when they realize that they colluded with white supremacy, colonialism, and capitalism. They have sold their souls. Every single celebrity who has remained silent or who has supported is not real, and their blatant propaganda, who said it all started on October 7th. No, it didn't. It started in the 1940s, post-World War II. That's when this started. And we must study the history, because empire will gaslight you by rewriting history and centering the oppressors in the narrative and erasing the oppressed. This is what I'm seeing and sensing. Again, Mercury in Aquarius is all about communication. The planet of communication. Okay, and when Mercury is strong in Aquarius, we can therefore understand that this energy has an opportunity to oppose this energy, because the Emperor and Magician do not get along. They are nemesis. So right now, for all people, as we are 4.5 months into this genocide, this is your chance to speak up, speak out. Now, this is your chance to choose your side in history. Because again, what we are witnessing is the death of the U.S. empire, the beginning of the end, the death of white supremacy, the death of heteronormativity, the death of ableism. Capitalism is not a sustainable system. And there will be a lot of Knights of Swords, bullies, people who have a fight trauma response. We are seeing that being triggered so hardcore right now with all of these Zionist, Islamophobic, racists, who, if you even mention the word Palestinian human rights, what do? They get nasty. They become a bully. And they try and bully you into their narrative. We must understand here, with the Magician and the Six of Swords coming into play, how to have discernment and to read between the lines of these narratives. Okay? Whew. Now, on February 16th, 2024, we also have Venus entering Aquarius to join all these planets in co-presence. And Venus is in a neutral space in Aquarius. So we have Mars feeling weak. The Emperor is feeling weak, right? And then we have Saturn in Aquarius, which is a very strong space for Saturn. So the Hermit energy is feeling good. In Vedic astrology, Saturn is the ruling planet of Aquarius. And then again, we have the Magician, Mercury, feeling really good in Aquarius too, feeling very strong. And now we have here the Empress coming in as a neutralizing force in Aquarius. The Five of Swords, Minor Arcana. And the Page of Swords. So for me, this energy, being a neutralizing energy, is encouraging people to investigate, to get curious. Empire has always been deeply anti-intellectual and has actively sought to destroy imagination. So people, especially white people, don't get triggered, need to do a little investigation, a little research, if you truly believe the Hamas terrorist racist narrative. If you truly believe this all started on October 7th, you need to do some deep, not only research, but soul searching here with this energy of Venus and Aquarius. Because you have been deceived. Five of Swords. You have been deceived. There is mass deception going on in mainstream media narratives. Does it not shock people that a government is not real, paid millions of dollars for a Super Bowl ad? A nation. Not some corporation like Doritos or Coca-Cola purchased Super Bowl ad time. No. Is not real, purchased airtime during the Super Bowl to run propaganda. If this does not convince you to, well, why is Hamas so radicalized, supposedly? Why are these people opposing Israel? Maybe let me research that. Oh, their people have been terrorized and occupied and ethnically cleansed for 75 plus years. Oh, they've been under a horrible apartheid regime for 75 plus years. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Of course they've been radicalized. So if you're still playing neutral, like the Empress, this is an opportunity for anyone embodying the Empress energy to recognize that there's no such thing as neutrality. Neutrality is complicity and silence is violence. This is an opportunity for anyone wielding soft power like the Empress in your circle of influence to speak up and speak out, to have the bravery of the Empress to confront the Emperor with their bullshit and to call the Emperor out on their bullshit and shenanigans and to speak truth to power. This is the opportunity for Venus coming into an Aquarius, for anyone who feels like they are embodying the Empress energy. This is your moment to realize that in this neutral space, you have a choice to make. What side of history do you stand on? Knowing that the truth has been distorted, diluted, and suppressed. This is what I'm seeing and sensing here. Again, very interesting transits. All of these planets in co-presence in Aquarius. It is Aquarius season. And I'm just sensing here, before we transition into some intuitive tarot, the Empress must not align with the Emperor out of neutrality. The Empress, I'm sensing here, must align with the Magician energy in order to convince the Magician to use their magic for good, to use their magic not to sell out. The Empress must confront neutrality within themselves. Because this is what, frankly, white women have done throughout all of patriarchy. White women have always colluded and aligned with patriarchy whilst being performative transactional allies to all oppressed groups. And this is the opportunity for white women to recognize that if you reclaim your power, that's it for patriarchy. If white women start to dismantle white supremacy, that's it. The jig is up. The reign of terror is over. This is an opportunity for white women, specifically, calling you into intersectional feminism. If you can recognize that neutrality is sleeping with the enemy. Neutrality is a false sense of security, a false sense of safety. Neutrality, again, is complicity with patriarchy. If you can, the Empress, again, this is a deep opportunity for the Empress to recognize their soft power. And that soft power, in the end, always trumps power over. Always. And this is a lesson the Emperor will never understand in their lifetime. Anyone embodying the Emperor archetype will never, again, go past the Hermit and their soul's evolution. And so, the Empress here, this energy, I'm sensing for the next 20 years, must commit to choosing a side and becoming an accomplice with all oppressed groups for collective liberation, rather than an accomplice with the Emperor. Because frankly, white women, you have been deluding yourself for far too long if you think you are not complicit in patriarchy. And when you recognize the power, the soft power you have to change the game, this is what I'm seeing and sensing will be playing out for the next 20 years, especially in the U.S. empire. White women voted Trump into office, so white women, you can make a choice. You can make a choice during this election where you stand. Because at the end of the day, that feeling of safety that the Emperor may provide you is an illusion. And it comes at the cost, blood spilled over others. Your right to comfort in patriarchy always has a brutal cost. Remember that. Okay. That's what I'm seeing and sensing. Let's now check in with the Crowley Thoth Tarot deck and do some intuitive tarot. Let's see what is going on a deeper level with these transits. Spirit, please give us more information about how these energies will continue to play out for those on the path of collective liberation in relation to this Mars-Pluto conjunction. The Six of Disc, success, another 6. And at the bottom of the deck, the 5 of Disc, worry. So the disc are the pentacles in the Crowley Thoth Tarot deck. Wow, we got the 5 and the 6 of Pentacles. Yeah, patriarchy, the powers that be, are deeply worried that they've lost control over the narrative. Clearly, the world's opinion has changed. Clearly, the world sees the United States for what it is. A terrorist, colonial, apartheid regime, just like is not real. Clearly, the powers that be are worried here. And clearly, with the Pentacles, this is about economics. This is about geopolitics, resource extraction. This is about oil. And in order to justify the genocide of Palestinians that will allow Israel to build houses and malls and shops, and then that allows the United States to extract the oil, they need a scapegoat in their narrative. And it's clear as day that the scapegoat is Hamas. This monster of the imagination that they've created to support this genocide. Because it is, again, about economic success. It has nothing to do with goodwill. It has nothing to do with anti-Semitism. It has nothing to do with Israel's right to defense. It has everything to do with economics, big oil, and resource monopoly. This is what empire has always done. When they want a land's natural resources and there are indigenous people there, they exterminate the indigenous people, ethnically cleanse, forcibly remove, in order to claim the right to those resources. This is what is going on. And so, how do they absolve their guilt? Psychologically, they create a scapegoat. How do they get people to support such vile, horrible, humanitarian crises? By brainwashing people with a scapegoat narrative. That again is rooted in Darvo. Deny, attack, reverse, victim, offender. So the 5 and the 6 of Pentacles, this is telling me that the powers that be think that they, post Super Bowl, when the sheeples were tuning in to the boob tube record numbers of people watched Super Bowl 2024. The same amount of people who watched the landing on the moon. And whilst the nation was tuning in to this, again, the U.S. Empire's racist prom game, Is Not Real was bombing Rafah, the place that they told millions of Palestinians was the last safe space. They have nowhere to go. They have nowhere else to go. Where will they go? This has been the plan all along. To get them to the southern border by Egypt, where they are stuck, where they are concentrated, that way they can be eradicated. And the powers that be think that this plan has been pulled off with success, but we are too educated. We are too empowered. We are too aware. We have the receipts of every single snake oil salesman, celebrity, athlete, politician, billionaire who is complicit and silent in this genocide, and we will not forget. So while they feel they have short-term economic success, in the long term, Pluto, the longer game, history will not be kind to these fools because they think they've gotten away with it and they haven't. They think the people are too stupid to notice, but we're not. We will remember and we will never forgive. This is what I am seeing and sensing here with the 5 and 6 of Pentacles. Again, Empire is deeply worried because their illusion of control is dependent on the masses being apathetic, indifferent, complacent, distracted. What they do not know, what they are deeply worried about, and what they are actively trying to censor is how social media has become a tool of service media. Social media has become a tool of protest, a tool of documenting this genocide in real time. We have the evidence. The International Court of Justice was using video evidence of Israeli soldiers that they uploaded to TikTok themselves. They are arrogant. They are sociopathic. They are narcissistic, and they do not fear retribution if they are uploading their human rights crimes, their genocide to TikTok. This is madness. The International Court of Justice used TikTok videos as evidence. Ugh. I'm getting here another message because of the Pentacles, the money, follow the money. This is not about anti-Semitism. Zionism, little history lesson, has always been fueled, funded, and supported by anti-Semitic Christian evangelicals. The majority of Zionists are Christian evangelical white supremacists who are deeply anti-Semitic. Theodore Herzl, the founder of Zionism, was a colonizer. Israel's creation with the Balfour Declaration. William Balfour of Britain was an anti-Semite and white supremacist, and the only reason they created Is Not Real because they didn't want the Jews in Europe, and the United States, because of eugenics, didn't want the Jews. So, in a self-serving geopolitical move, they created Is Not Real. They marketed it as democracy in the Middle East. They marketed it as a safe space for Jews when they didn't give a fuck about the Jews. They created Israel in order to have a colony, a convenient excuse to extract the oil from that region. Anti-Semitism has been weaponized. This is not about fighting anti-Semitism. So if you are under the impression of that narrative, you need to, again, research some history and understand that if you subscribe to that narrative, you are being anti-Semitic. Hasidic Jews, Orthodox Jews, say that the number one threat to Jewish people is the Zionist state of Israel, and that it does not represent Judaism. Zionism is anti-Semitism, and when we study these historical Pluto transits, what do we see? We see the development of Christianity. And capitalism and white supremacy are intimately connected to weaponized Christianity. So that's another message I'm sensing here with this Pluto transit, is again realizing how deeply brainwashed and gaslit the public has been by this Hamas scapegoat terrorist narrative. It's deeply racist, it's deeply Islamophobic, and it's playing on people's internalized white supremacy. And now everyone's, in order to maintain their image that they're a good person, have to be a performative anti-Semite when they're not even aware that they're aligning with anti-Semitism by aligning with Zionism. If you align with Zionism, you are an anti-Semite, and you're not even aware of it. The same way people aren't even aware that they're a white supremacist. Same way people aren't aware that they're supporting colonialism. Money from Christian evangelical Zionists is fueling the continued colonization of Palestine, because that's where they want to go. Their supposed Holy Land. They are deeply entitled. They don't give a fuck about the Jewish people. They don't give a fuck that Jesus was Palestinian. All they care about is creating their Christian colony, and is not real. And they have used the legacy of Jewish suffering as a political pawn, and it is, again, if you study the historical Pluto transits, it's all interconnected to what Christianity really is, which is just Bible drag, aka white supremacy, heteronormativity, and ableism masquerading in weaponized religion. Please, before you subscribe to a racist, Islamophobic narrative that dehumanizes Palestinians, who have always been a mixture of Muslim, Jewish, and Christian people. The Palestinians have always been a mixture, and they were living peacefully together before the colonization began post-World War II. Please investigate and do some research and follow the money, honey. Okay, we will pull our final oracle message now from the Vedic palmistry deck. It was very Plutonian. Spirit, what is the final oracle message regarding this Pluto and Mars conjunction that the collective coven has a need to know? Spirit, what is the final oracle message regarding this Mars-Pluto conjunction in Aquarius for Aquarius season, heading into Pisces season? The Charmer. The Venus Interactive X. An engraved X symbolizes the gift of productive interaction with a larger public arena. Characteristics include the ability to connect with people and to be seen as someone whom people wish to reciprocate. X's on the Venus power plant are generally modest in size, and 2 or 3 of them can occasionally be seen near each other. The blessing of the Venus X is a pleasing and cheerful personality. Personality that's friendly and optimistic, amicable, alluring and popular, loves cooperation, harmony, refined, and aesthetic. In Venus and Aquarius is a neutral space for Venus, that Empress energy, and coming into play here with our final oracle message. Yeah, I'm sensing this is about for that Empress archetype, for people to realize that white supremacy culture values niceness and being friendly. And niceness is white supremacy. What is niceness? What is white nice? In the words of Syra Rao, that is being silent in the face of oppression, not speaking up, not ruffling feathers, tiptoeing around controversial topics, tone policing, pussyfooting around the elephant in the room. This is not a time to be nice. This is a time to, if you're not radicalized right now, I don't know what in the world could light a fire under your ass. If you're not radicalized, if you're not pissed, if you're not at the space where I don't give a fuck about being friendly and nice and amicable, because that will not get us collective liberation. What does niceness get you in patriarchy? Breadcrumbs. What does toxic positivity get you in patriarchy? Nowhere. It keeps you stuck in cognitive dissonance and the trauma bond. So I'm sensing here with this final message, the Venus Interactive X, is a message to divest from niceness, to divest from whiteness, and to start speaking truth to power. And to recognize that I'm sensing here, to recognize that diplomacy serves you only when you are dealing with rational, sane individuals. When you are dealing with genocidal maniacs, racist white supremacists, diplomacy does not serve you. Cooperation does not serve you. Harmony does not serve you. Love and light will not save you. And in the words of Audre Lorde, your silence will not save you. Until people recognize that this Pluto transit is the death of white supremacy, it is the death of colonialism, it is the death of patriarchy, that is when you will have the inner transformation from being friendly to radical. Because you're going to lose a lot of friends when you start to speak truth to power. You will realize who is your true friend and who is an imposter. These are the times where you see people's true colors. People who you thought were your friends who were not. People who you thought were good people who align with oppression, who align with white supremacy, who would rather maintain their popularity. This is what I'm seeing and sensing for this final oracle message. Thank you, Spirit. And thank you to anyone who tuned in to this Tarotscope. Your presence is truly appreciated from the bottom of my heart to yours. And again, my name is Trey, aka @Taboo Tarot Reader. And if these messages resonate with you, head over again to my Instagram, check out the content there for all the latest information. And addition, check out the online bookstore for @Taboo Tarot Reader. You are interested to learn more about astrology for divination, a 444-page guidebook that helps you intuitively interpret your birth chart and each planet placement and study the different correspondences between astrological transits, tarot cards, the runes, etc. And again, my name is @Taboo Tarot Reader. Any and all likes, comments, shares, subscribes, and testimonial for @Taboo Tarot are truly, truly, truly appreciated. I just am enraged right now, but I'm attempting to use my voice to raise awareness. So, decolonize everything, decolonize now. Thank you so much. Collective liberation now.